energy forecast for Saturday, October 14th. So welcome to the new moon solar eclipse in Libra day. Of course, we've been building towards this particular potent energy all week. Technically, since we came into Libra season with that equinox energy, it's almost like the equinox energy sucked us in and then spit us out in eclipse energy. And of course, this past week has been very challenging in some ways, definitely very revealing for where it is that our energy, time, and attention is needed now the most. And because we had a lot of fluctuating energies with planets on the move and so on and so forth, we're definitely in a very interesting, crazy, confusing dynamic, which eclipse season always brings us. Confusion is the name of the game. Observing is the name of the game because, of course, we're at the mercy of the cosmos. We are getting sorted out, karmically speaking. And because of that, there could be a definite push and pull, ebb and flow taking place not only within you, not only within your personal dynamics, but we see this particular, I'm going to say, conflict taking place on the greater, grander stage. So we got a lot to unpack. I am going to recommend that you listen to the astro forecast that I put out for the new moon solar eclipse in Libra energy. There is a moon guide for you to download. Of course, Libra season e-guide. If you've downloaded that, take a flip over to that particular page. Really grasp what's going on for you because we are going to be in this very, very chaotic, swirling energy until the end of October and technically speaking, carrying us right into November as well. So there's a lot of content out there, a lot of information for you to sort through. It would be to your advantage to understand fully what this is going to mean for you, especially examining this particular event in your birth chart. But overall, we have a lot going on, and with the aspects taking place here today, as we build towards the most potent energy, the peak energy, if you will, we're definitely going to have a lot of thoughts and feelings come up, a lot of flashbacks, a lot of push and pull, a lot of inner conflict, a lot of just moments in time that are definitely going to reverberate with us as we move through this eclipse season. So with that being said, there are 12 different aspects here today, 9 of them going to involve the moon. Before we jump into a moon aspect, though, we have Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves, who is in this Libran energy, again, trying to kind of sort out the pros and cons, the highs, the lows, the black and white of the situation. We're really trying to get to the truth of the matter. We're trying to negotiate. We're trying to compromise. We're trying to make peace. And Lord knows we need a little bit more of that here on this earth plane. Mercury is going to be making a positive interaction with Uranus. Uranus is the great awakener. He's actually the higher octave of Mercury. So Uranus connects us to the higher realms of intelligence, where Mercury kind of rules over the lower level of intelligence, where our ego is concerned. Uranus, the Great Awakener, is retrograde, again, reflecting back, revising, revisiting some things in the past, if you will, and in this fixed earth sign of Taurus energy that he is currently in, we are definitely taking a good look at our physical realms, what it is that we've built, what it is that we brought to life, what it is that we've created, not only in our physical realms, but more specifically where our self-worth, our self-esteem is concerned, where our routines are concerned, our relationships are concerned, our money matters are concerned, basically the fundamentals of our resources. So with Mercury and Uranus coming together, especially in a positive aspect, there is this merging of the higher realm of intelligence with our lower level intellect. And considering the fact that eclipse season is notorious for higher intelligence downloads, we are likely, especially with this aspect, in a very good position to have some aha moments, some epiphanies, some visions, some dreams, some new goals downloaded to us that we will be able to interpret relatively quickly. Again, Mercury brings that information in from the higher realm that Uranus kind of downloads it from. We're able to add logic and practicality to it, sort out the pros and cons, and then we get to work on seeing how it is that we can bring some of these aspects into form. The moon in Libran energy is going to make an awkward interaction with Saturn. Saturn, of course, the Lord of Karma himself, retrograde in the Pisces energy, helping us to dissolve the old version of self, the old belief system, the old realm and reality that old belief system of the old version of self has created. We are definitely understanding at this particular point in time where it is that we've been avoiding the heavier topics and themes. Again, in Libra season, especially with the moon in Libra, we typically speaking want to stay in the shallow realm of our thoughts, of our emotions, of our experiences. We want to wear that mask, make everybody believe that everything is all right while we're dying inside, while we're literally at war with ourselves. So this particular energy, because Saturn kind of brings a little bit of a reality check, he's kind of stepping on one scale, bringing it all the way down in order to realize where there's been a certain amount of emotional extremes, avoidance, if you will, with the karmic chapters that we're leaving behind, with the new karmic chapters that we have yet to jump into, where it is that we've outgrown certain roles and responsibilities and commitments in our lives, because of course that was connected to the old vibration and frequency that we once were. We've broken away from that. We're establishing a new one. We're building ourselves up in a lot of different ways, but for the most part, we've been very avoidant with this new change, with this new transformation, and we're definitely going to get a bitch slap of truth and reality from Mr. Saturn here on what it is that we need to focus on, what it is that we need to come to terms with and accept, so that we can essentially close the door on the past and open the door to the future. The moon in Libran energy then going to make a positive interaction with Uranus. This is beautiful. It means that we're gaining a little bit of insight. We're having an aha moment, an epiphany, if you will. We're understanding where it is that we have to change our mind, change our perspective, and see our emotions change as well. And of course, this is illuminating to us where it is that we've been resisting change and why maybe we've been doing those things, and where it is that even though we've been praying for change, technically speaking, we're running away from it, and where it is that we got to knock that off and actually come into a new perspective, a new understanding where growth and evolution is 100% concerned. The moon then comes up to, bumps into, teams up with Mercury, who of course is in this Libran energy as well. If you downloaded your moon guide, you would know that Mercury is part of the stellium taking place in this Libran energy, which is just putting a major influence and focus on the shift of our mind space. Of course, we need to change our mind space. We need to change our emotional space. We need to get them in alignment in order to take action, engage the physical body to make the moves that we have to make in order to flip the script and start mirroring back to us what it is that we've arrived at in our inner realm. We have to start creating that in our outer realm. But of course, there's some inner realm work to do. The moon and Mercury coming into alignment means that for a very short amount of time, our heart and our head are going to be on the same page, are going to be in alignment, are going to be focusing in on where the emotional and mental shift needs to happen first and foremost. We may not sit in that alignment for very long because, of course, the moon in Libran energy is going to sit across from Chiron, the wounded healer, in this Aries energy. Libra, Aries, they sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel. This is what this eclipse is all about. We're in this karmic life lesson as of right now for the next year on where it is that we have to balance these energies out. Chiron is bringing up the wounds. And of course, sitting in the fears and the doubts and the insecurities and the imposter syndrome of trying to bring this new identity to life. We're having a hard time saying no to the people, to the things that we need to be saying no to in order to honor ourselves. Again, very people pleasing. That is very much the Libran qualities and characteristics. I'm tongue-tied, my apologies. This particular energy is going to illuminate where it is that the certainty that we just sat in with the alignment between our heart and our head is definitely giving us a good go for our money, because we're just starting to pick apart all the reasons of maybe why we're not so sure now. And again, indecision reigns supreme in this Libran energy, and especially in this eclipse season, we are definitely going to go back and forth, up and down, back and forth, up and down until we find a sweet spot. That sweet spot likely isn't happening today, so just kind of be patient and observe the different thoughts, the different energies, the different emotions coming up within you, because they will snap together, they will reveal a beautiful, bright aha moment that you haven't been able to be illuminated to up until this particular point. Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire, even our anger. He is now in his rulership in Scorpio energy. Things are very intense. We're having new urges, new passions, new desires actually come to the forefront of our acknowledgement, our realization. This is a positive interaction with Neptune. Neptune, of course, retrograde in his place of power, and this Pisces energy is all about dreams and imagination and creativity and our spiritual selves and where endings and closures are needed in order for us to create a space to actually pursue the new triggers, let's call them, that our heart and soul is asking us to pursue. This is just a fresh energy that Mars has just entered into. We are being semi-stalled out, if you will, with the action that Mars wants to take. We have to put that off a little bit until eclipse season comes to a close, because the last thing that we want to do is waste any time and energy trying to bring forth elements and aspects that, karmically speaking, we're not aligned with. So we don't want to go against the grain here. We want to go with the flow, which means that we have to act as the observer. But what we know is that Mars interacting with Neptune in this way, definitely downloading us with new visions, new dreams that are kind of rallying us up all in the best ways, getting us fired up, getting us excited, getting us passionate, and really kind of getting us in touch with this new energy that many of us haven't felt for a very long time. The moon in Libra going to semi-square Venus. Venus, of course, rules over the Libran energy, rules over Libra season, rules over this particular new moon solar eclipse event. Venus, of course, is in Virgo energy, all kind of grounded and earthed out, realizing where the smaller adjustments need to be made, and really our physical realms where we have to start taking better care of ourselves, where we have to rearrange and restructure the way that we go about really making enough time for our own wants, needs, and desires to be actualized and realized. This is a semi-square, so there is a tension and a conflict coming up, and emotionally speaking, this would speak volumes on where it is that we're not so sure, we're not so certain about what it is that we need to do from here, especially when it comes to removing people, places, things, aspects that really aren't supporting us in moving on and creating a different realm, a different reality. Definitely some questioning going on there with what it is that is actually going to make us happy. 1:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the moon coming up to, bumping into, conjunct the sun, which of course gives us our new moon solar eclipse in Libran energy. This is a blending of the unconscious realm with the conscious realm, of our emotional realm with our life force energy. You best believe that this is going to be a time in the day where the energy is just going to be pinging off and creating a lot of very wild ascension symptoms in our physical body. Again, please take a listen to the astro forecast for that. And if you want to do a deep dive in what eclipses are all about, specifically what this particular series of eclipses are about, please jump over to my Patreon. We did a whole rant on it, a whole astro class on it on Wednesday. It would definitely be, I'm going to say, to your benefit if you're interested in doing this self-development work to understand what this particular chapter is all about. The moon is then going to interact with Uranus. Now, Uranus in this particular aspect is not as favorable as some of the aspects in earlier in the day. However, this is going to illuminate confusion. Why is that a good thing? Well, because confusion comes right before clarity comes. A breakdown comes right before a breakthrough comes. And right now we're sitting in the swirling of the eclipse energy and the potency of the confusion, because we are about to be revealed, I'm going to say, to a huge chunk of truth, a huge perspective that we've been missing. And of course, it may not come in a moment's notice. It may not even come overnight. But this is the activation, if you will, that allows these particular situations and circumstances to unfold naturally and organically. Mercury is going to sit across from and oppose Chiron. Well, we could definitely understand how this is going to pose a problem, seeing as Mercury is our mental plane and Chiron is the wounded healer, and we're sitting across from each other having a little bit of a deep discussion, if you will, and this is definitely going to bring the negative narrative back into our mental plane. It's going to tunnel vision our focus on all the things that could go wrong, all the reasons of why we shouldn't even try. This is, again, the breaking down of where it is that we have been second guessing ourselves, where it is that we've been trying to justify our non-action with all of the reasons of why we shouldn't even bother. Again, it has to get dark before we can appreciate the light. The moon is going to oppose the North Node in Aries because, of course, the moon is sitting right on top of the South Node in Libran energy. This is what gives us our eclipse. If you don't understand what the eclipses mean and how the true nodes of the moons kind of create the energy that we are needing to balance out, please jump over to my astro class on Patreon where I can go into depth about that. We started the whole eclipse edition back in the spring with the very first aspect of this Aries and Libran axis, and of course continued it for this particular eclipse season. Basically, the south node of the moon in Libran energy is what we're trying to grow out of and what we're trying to break away out of, which means people pleasing, relationship dynamics, codependency, caring too much about other people's thoughts and opinions and allowing that to influence the decisions in which we're making for ourselves. The North Node in Aries energy is the future. It's the soul path that we need to get on. It's the destiny point that the collective needs to be aligned with in order to pour into embodying those particular qualities of the energy that, of course, Aries lends us, which is building our ego identity up, building the relationship with ourselves up, putting our own wants, needs, and desires ahead of everyone else's in order to fulfill our own mission, our own purpose. Again, we're going to be in this karmic chapter for the next year, so it's definitely advisable that you understand where this is taking place in your life, and you can find that out by examining your chart. The moon is then going to make an interaction with Neptune. It's not the nicest. It is the last aspect of the day, and it is definitely going to put us in a not so nice mind frame, a not so nice emotional state. Why is that? Well, because confusion usually leads us down the path of fear, of doubt, of insecurity. When you don't trust yourself and you don't trust the greater, grander plan and you don't trust the process, it leaves a lot of room to question things and to align with that fear-based vibration. Of course, we want to do everything that we can to avoid that. And again, the avoidance issue comes up with Neptune retrograde in Pisces because we tend to not want to deal with life, not want to deal with reality. We want to bury our head in the sand. We want to kind of curl up in a ball and just wade this particular lifetime out while we just kind of lose ourselves in la la land. Of course, we can't do that. We're very much at a very important point of this ascension journey, of this awakening, if you will, and continuing to run away and avoid the hard things will only prolong the pain and trauma that many of us are experiencing by trying to close the door on our past. And of course, we are here in this eclipse season to see where it is that that door kind of needs to be shut, and in some cases nailed all the way shut, in order for us not to ever be able to go back to the things that we fought so hard to grow out of and get away from. This eclipse season is going to reveal multiple doors to our future. It is up to us to sit back, observe the doors that are appearing as we move through this eclipse season before we make a decision, which again is not happening in Libra season, on which door we will be walking through. And again, more information and details will be revealed throughout this eclipse season so that we're well informed on what it is that we have to choose from. So this is a definite wonky day in the calendar. I just advise you to stay as grounded as possible, stay as observant as possible, and of course, do not run, do not hide, face the hard things head on.